those signs, ugly, glaring signboards.
This is something I
Horrible. And
if you're driving into Panjim or out of Panjim, if you see that signs that he's talking about, why are you making it like a Las Vegas kind of a thing with all? What are you advertising? Pan masala you're advertising, yeah? The biggest board in what you see around Panjim on Betim Hill is pan masala.
And actually, I'm
We
surprised.
are proud of.
I think it's an alien thing to Goa.
Exactly.
To the culture
of
Goa.
course,
Pan
it's an
masala.
alien thing.
Welcome to Susegaad Musings, the brand new talk show that's all about the sun-kissed, beautiful state of Goa. Co-hosted by Amit Chopra and myself, Ryan Lobo, we talk about the real Goa by speaking to people who call Goa their home.
I'm sorry to say, most people, I mean, some well-educated, smart people, everybody, their thing is simple. As long as me and my family are okay,
It doesn't
taken
matter.
care
what
of,
you
it
think.
doesn't matter.
Yes.
Sad.
We are not carrying on the lessons COVID taught us. Whether you're a millionaire or
Absolutely.
it will affect you. So the same thing is going to happen with this. If you do something to destroy Goa, you are going to pay for it.
Yes.
Whoever you may be.
The 9th episode of Susegaad Musings features KulaSekar Kantipudi, a developer, consultant and motorcyclist, but really a true gentleman. After his father moved the family to Goa in his own youth, Shekhar decided to make Goa his home. He shares his journey in Goa and so much more on this episode. We prefer to have Shekhar share about it like only he can. So let's get straight into this episode of Susegaad Musings.
So we have Mr. Shekhar today. Mr. Shekhar from Amit and myself. Thank you for joining us on this session. So we understand that your father was into the diamond business.
Yeah.
And then there was an opportunity to set up a diamond factory here. So he was called. And in the year 1979, you moved to Goa.
Yeah.
It must have been a very beautiful time in 1979. And you moved to Miramar, Panjim. How was it? What was your experience?
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Amit, for inviting me to speak today, especially about Goa, which is one of my favorite topics.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite love, actually. And yes, coming to we moving to Goa in 1979 was like dream-like place when we came to Goa. We stayed in a small colony called Lakeview Colony in Miramar. And my father put me in Don Bosco School in Panjim. So the experience was so beautiful because we used to either walk from Miramar to Panjim to school and back, or we used to cycle and go and come back. So those memories are so beautiful because those days there was hardly any traffic in Panjim. Even in our colony, there were just a couple of cars. In the Lakeview colony, there were hardly, I remember, 3 or 4 cars. So traffic was very low. So we used to actually enjoy the walk to school and back. And in the evening, spending time with friends by the lakeside, sitting and chatting, all rubbish, but still fantastic experience. I mean,
I think that rubbish is something that we remember fondly. No?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That is the most beautiful time of our life. Innocent, looking forward to things, zeal that you have when you were a kid. It's totally different. Shekhar, just a question. Before coming to Goa, you are originally from a big metro, right? You are from?
From Hyderabad. I was born in Hyderabad.
You were born in Hyderabad.
Yeah.
So Hyderabad was a large city. Right. Not that large that it is today, but even
It
at
was
that time
still
it
a
was
big city,
a big
yes,
city.
it was a big city.
And from there coming down to Goa, how was it? And you still, what was it? You loved Goa that much that you, when your father asked you, I remember you telling me, you said, no, I want to be in Goa.
Yeah, both me and my sister.
Okay.
When my dad, after finishing the job that he was given to set up the factory, whether we would go back to our hometown. So both me and my sister said, no, we are extremely happy. We would like to stay back here in Goa. That's because we had already formed lovely friendships,
Bonds out.
bonds with friends in school. And not only friends, even the school. You know, my sister was in Rosary School, Our Lady of Rosary in Donapala, and I was in Don Bosco. The school, the institution itself was so wonderful. You know, we didn't want to leave that school.
I can understand.
Yeah. So we both said, yes, we want to settle down here. So my dad said, what more?
So tell us about your early days in Goa. How was Goa then? And then what suddenly, your background is totally different. You came from Hyderabad. Your father was in the diamond business. You did mechanical engineering, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And after that, coming to real estate, I'd like to know the journey, how it turned, how did you decide to be turn into real estate, and little bit about your, what you built, because you built one of Goa's biggest brands.
Yeah.
You yourself were the brand actually. And would you like to hear the metamorphosis of a person from a varied background into this, and how he did and created something different? Because what you did was quite different from what was being done at that time.
Amit, I can't take the credit and say I. Why I'm saying is because, as I was telling Ryan some time back, that we are blessed. You know, I had a fantastic life in Goa. I mean, even in Hyderabad, but particularly in Goa. Blessed because of wonderful parents, upbringing, fantastic school, teachers in the school. The teachers who used to teach me in Don Bosco are even today, they're my best friends.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I'm still in touch with them.
Superb.
Like Father Edwin, who's in Bombay, Edwin D'Souza, Father George Quadras, who's in South Goa, based in South Goa. He's one of the top agriculturists in South Goa. He's changed the entire, the way paddy is grown in Goa. He's brought in technology and all that. What I'm saying is, I cannot say that, I have done, like Amit was saying, that whether it is with my company or Milrock company or whatever, I think it's something, this is what I feel, that is just like as though God had planned a lovely plan for me. And it went so smooth, so beautifully. And as I always say, I'm a people's person.
Absolutely.
I connected with my teachers, my friends in school, my college, 11th and 12th in Dempe College was one of my finest years.
Oh, really?
Tell us about it.
Fantastic, because we had such good friends. Yes, we bunked classes, and that was right next to the beach.
And this Miramar Road also never existed at that time, right?
Yeah.
The Miramar Karanzale Road.
That was not there, because just after Sharda Mandir, the school road would end.
Yes.
So we would go there, we would sit on the beach, we would chat. I mean, that carefree life was amazing. It's somehow is my highlight of my life, student days.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, in those days, going to school there, the beach is right there. It's so quiet and beautiful, peaceful.
And, we were blessed to have such fantastic teachers here. I'll be very honest. I was not a very bright student. We were backbenchers. I don't know how much I learnt what my teachers taught there. I did learn, but not much. But what they taught me about life, I can never forget. And that is what bonded between me and my teachers, whether it is Isabel Santaritavas, or whether it is Rabin Pinto, or whether it is Joe Menezes. All these professors, I mean, even today, after so many years, I still walk into the staff room of the college and I connect with the new, some of them are my classmates who are teachers.
Oh, nice.
So, because most of my teachers have retired. They are there, one or two of them right now. So what I'm saying is that is the kind of I continued that even after while doing my business. Once in a month or especially every teacher's day, I would go in with some gifts for all the teachers.
Oh, superb.
So
Superb.
that it was mainly, more than giving the gifts to the teachers, it was such a pleasure to sit and chat with them.
Of course.
So these experiences cannot be bought. These are fantastic experiences that I've had during my student days in Dempe College. After that, again, my government polytechnic, Altino, good experiences, good friendships that I made there. And immediately after finishing my mechanical engineering, Dad asked me if I would like to do some business on my own. And my dad had just finished building his house in Dhanapala. So I said, okay, why not? We'll give it a try. So with the help of Mr. Javeri, who was my dad's associate from Bombay, because of the relationship he shared with my father, that great bond, he agreed to be a partner as a finance partner and as a mentor, because a man of great experience, wonderful gentleman. Even today, though we are not partners, but when we talk, there's that mutual respect.
Of course.
Amazing. Very difficult to get such people.
I have not met him,
Yeah.
but I have always heard
Yes.
amazing things about him from you.
Yeah, because that is why I was telling you. I don't know what was the thing, maybe because of my blessings from my parents or from my ancestors, that I got all the right people. See, doing real estate business is not easy. Because those days, or even till today, if you go and tell, when I used to go for any function or something and I would introduce myself as a builder, they would first look at me and say, you don't look like a builder. So I said, how does a builder look? So, a little more, harsh, kind of a tough guy kind of a thing.
Okay.
I said, is it necessary? They said, yes, that's the way. And most of the builders are crooks. That was the impression.
That was the image. Yes.
Those days, image those days. So my father only gave me 2-3 key, pointers. One is, he says, be honest, deliver on time, and take care of your customers. Do quality stuff.
Sheikh, which was the year you started out?
The business 1989.
1989.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, very, very shortly, probably after you graduated or something.
Yeah, just immediately after that.
Wow.
Because a few months, I did some work for my father just to get some experience. But beyond that, immediately we started this. So, fresh out of college, I didn't know much. But with the support of my dad, because my dad was very well-known personality in Goa.
Almost 33, 34 years.
Yeah.
Back. Wow.
Yeah.
That's been a long journey.
Long journey and beautiful journey.
Yeah, amazing.
Amit.
We would love to hear a bit about your journey.
Yeah.
About Millrock, everybody knows the role you have played about it.
Yeah.
You were the face of Millrock. Rather, for most of us, you were Millrock.
Yeah. And again, as I said, I cannot take the credit alone because
That
there was
we
such a
understand.
beautiful balance.
No, that we understand. Only thing is, why I said this is, you probably being the people's person that you are,
Yeah.
that I've seen, we've not done business together.
Yeah.
Right? But we became good friends.
So that's the beauty of it.
This is
See,
it.
That is the beauty
best
of
thing
it.
is, Shekhar was one of the greatest guys who supported us when we started out our real estate association,
Exactly.
Brokers
Yeah,
Association
Okay.
in Goa. So we went to him and he was so supportive at that time that can't use, the words will not be enough to thank him. But seriously, Shekhar,
Yeah.
why I'm mentioning all this is the aspects of you that people don't know.
Yeah.
That you have been, you ran a charity.
Yeah.
You have, if I'm not wrong, 3 years on the Fire and Security Association of India.
I've been
Goa
the president
chapter.
of Goa chapter of Fire and Security Association of India.
And then the Green Welding Council co-chairman.
Co-chairman, yes.
Yes, and years well known in Kredai and as a
Yes.
developer, as a person.
I was one of the initial members of Kredai.
Founders.
Yeah,
in
founders of
Goa.
Kredai, yes.
Yes, and the best part is that despite that, your humility, your humbleness, we just want to understand the journey of yours. How did you see Goa change? What is the positive aspects that you think are still retained, and what positive aspects of Goa which made you want to be a Goan?
Yeah.
And you are as Goan as anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. No question
you
about
know, Shekhar for me is not a person who came from Hyderabad.
Yeah.
It is for me, Shekhar is a Goan
Yeah.
who lives in Goa, loves Goa, and I want to understand that aspect from you. You had opportunities to go out, do other things.
Yeah.
You still chose to be in Goa. What made you remain here, and what is the journey? How's the journey been? We want that to understand that from you.
See, what the beauty about Goa that gets into anybody who lives here is, which we generally called it Susegaad attitude. Which is, yes, mostly people who are out of Goa misunderstand the word Susegaad. They equate it to laziness, which is wrong actually. Susegaad is actually such a wonderful description of life in Goa. It's about a proper balance living for anybody. Like, why I say that is because it is something about being content, not being avaricious.
I can see Amit smiling a lot, and
You
he'll
know
tell
why
the
I'm
reason
smiling?
why.
Yeah.
We have neglected knowingly to tell you this.
Yeah.
You know the name of this talk show?
Yeah.
It is Susegaad Musings.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What a wonderful. You know, Ryan, I've learned this word many years back called, you've heard of it, synchronicity?
Yes.
So this thing is the synchronicity.
Yep.
He never told me about it.
Yeah.
The topic came up.
And you
But there's a
use the
connection.
exact words that I have been using about Susegaad.
Yeah.
And this is a notion that I don't know what people feel,
Yeah.
that Susegaad is laziness.
No, that's what I'm saying. So the you asked me what made me stick to Goa. Even after starting business, we had opportunities in Pune, we had opportunities, particularly in Hyderabad. That's my hometown. My uncles were saying, "Well, come start business here, we'll help you." But there were reasons why at least I didn't push it or consider it at all, because I was content doing work here.
Superb.
And
You had a
the way, the style in which at least I was working was a lot of personal touch was involved. That wouldn't happen if I would start remote working in Hyderabad or in Pune or anywhere else, for that matter of fact. And I was thoroughly enjoying meeting every time some new person sitting across the table, understanding what they need, what is their requirement, and helping them to see if I could. And again, another thing that I would emphasize whenever I would do advertisements or talk about my projects, I never would call it a flat, or I would never call it an apartment. I would always say home. Are you looking for a home? See, the reason why I'm saying it is it's a kind of a reminder to me that it's a home. Home means what? A family staying together in a place. Because if you call it a flat is like walls, roof, this, that. So it would help me to become a little more sensitive towards my
customer.
customer who's sitting across.
Yes.
Yep.
So that is what people earlier used to find it. Maybe I was too sensitive or too not aggressive or whatever. But I found a beautiful niche. And exactly as my father said, if you follow a few norms and be honest and prove to people that yes, you won't cheat and you won't delay projects and you won't undercut and all that. He told me that there would be a queue outside your office, and that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
Not literally a queue, but we just went on growing step by step.
It looks like your father has kind of been a guru to
Absolutely,
you, and a
yeah.
big
My
influence
father has
on your
been a
life.
guru, just not to me. He's been always guru to, he had about 300 plus workers He's been guru to most of them.
Wow.
He would guide them in their personal life after work. If somebody passed away in their family, he would open the factory and lock the factory himself. Morning 7:30 he would open, evening 6 o'clock close. After closing, he would go and do the condolences visit to their house and come back late home. So somehow all these things, I guess,
You imbibed.
I
all that.
imbibed a
Yes,
little of it.
yes. Yes.
And I'm happy. See, again, sometimes, Ryan, I do wonder whether is it a good trait to be a good person or follow principles in life? Does it help in today's scenario? I do question many times because I've had my own setbacks, particularly in last 5 years with business and partnership and all that. And I was told that goodness is not worth much in today's.
Oh no, I would rather say
Yeah.
it is the biggest thing that is worth. Because Shekhar,
Yeah.
I don't think, let's make it clear, it's not about money. It's about respect. And I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that you have earned is respect.
Which is, yeah.
Today also,
Yeah.
people respect you.
Yeah.
People like me who
So-
have not done business with you.
So why I'm saying is, Amit, why I brought that up is, we are all human.
Yes.
There are sometimes you question yourself, you question your ways. Sometimes I even ended up questioning God, because it's so painful and frustrating that I'm not saying I'm saint, okay? I'm not saying I'm saint, but Amit will know, and a lot of people who have interacted with me know that I have tried to walk the right path, and I have done most of it. So sometimes you question, why me? Why things have gone wrong with me? But as again Amit said, if somebody would ask me, what is your wish? I always used to tell them, money is not my ambition or my target. My target is simple, only one thing. Tomorrow, if my son is walking in the streets of Panjim, somebody should point out and say, that is Sekar's son. In a positive way, rather than saying, oh, that bloody, crook fellow's son. I didn't want that. I wanted. So as Amit says, yes, I managed to earn respect of my friends and people with whom I've worked. And even with my colleagues with whom I've worked in my office, they do respect me for who I am. And the greatest thing for me is my own seniors, my teachers, they do respect me.
Right.
So, you can't ask for more than that.
So, you have gained so much wisdom by meeting all these people throughout your life. You've also traveled vastly in Europe with your father's business.
Yeah.
Can you tell us some of the things that you have learned from maybe European countries that you've implemented? And you are quite proud of the fact that Milrock, you have made sure that environmentally it is very different and unique.
Yeah.
So can you share some of your learnings from those journeys?
See, my father always used to tell that learning doesn't happen only in schools or colleges. He says learning happens with travel and meeting people, different kinds of people. Because the world has all kinds of cultures, religions. So what happens is, if you stick only to a certain place or something, then you become very fixed in certain ideas. So what happened is, this travels that we would do as a family, or even when my dad would send us independently to spend time with families in Europe, it kind of helped particularly me and my sister to see that there are different kinds of people in the world. They live in a different way, their requirements. And again, coming to the point of view of what you said, what did we learn? So many little things, like the way the villages were in Europe, because we were living in villages, some small towns.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
So you didn't go there on business purposes always?
No.
Okay.
It's the business connection my father had, which
Okay.
my father used to send us so that we would learn something.
Wow. So it was
Basically
just
giving you
exploration.
Exploration.
Giving you new perspectives. And
Exactly.
learning.
It was just exploration. So what happens is
Like
living,
an exchange program?
let's say a private exchange program with my dad arranged, that's it.
Amazing.
And amazing, I'm telling you, really, because seeing how they live, how caring they are for their environment, how clean they would keep their place.
Can you share some anecdotes from your experiences from there? I know maybe something may not pop in, but
Yeah.
what I think it's made a huge impact on your perception.
It has, definitely, because not only the staying with these families, because they are from the technical teams who helped my dad in the business, they would take me sometimes to the factories. So I would see the factories buildings. I'm telling you, I'm talking about these are in 80s, okay? The factories were as good as our offices. That clean, so organized, so beautifully laid out. And I'll just give you one small example to one of the factories where they used to make pins. You know, pins are the ones on which you set a diamond. So those stainless steel pins. So those pin manufacturing factory I'd gone to see. On the outskirts of the town, with all greenery around, right in the middle is the shed, this factory. When I drove and parked at that factory and we got off, it was, the moment I saw the way the factory was laid out, the office was on the mezzanine. Below the mezzanine, he had his car parked and he had a beautiful BMW bike parked.
Wow.
So I had a nice chat with that owner. It suddenly gave me this kind of a desire. I said, I would like to have a factory like this. Because that time we had not planned to get into construction and all that. I was doing my planning to do mechanical engineering that time. I was just finished my 12th. So I said, if you build a factory, it should be like this. Neat, clean, everybody is doing their work. And I'm, by the way, car and a bike enthusiast.
Okay.
So it just took me,
Yeah.
like that. So I had a nice chat with him. So I said, see, this guy is doing his business, he's enjoying his life. His family is about 10, 15 minutes away. I think this is the kind of community or a setup that I would like
Yes.
to live in.
So I think that made a big impact on you.
So yeah,
And the community living you saw in villages and things, I think you brought it to your projects also. Tried to preserve the nature.
Yeah.
I've seen that in Milrock's projects.
Yeah.
One of the few developers who has tried to preserve the trees there. Right, Shekhar?
yes.
And not only that, because Milrock was one of your larger projects, Retreat, the one I live
The
in.
retreat where you live. Ribanda.
Oh, you live in
Ribanda.
the project.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
live in
wow.
one of his projects.
Yeah. Oh,
and
nice.
the way they preserve the trees, trees take years to grow. They did the project around it. I
Beautiful.
think that was a learning that you
Yeah,
brought in
yeah.
from there.
It was there with me, but I'll tell you the beauty about particularly this particular project, which was one of our first major projects. We were so fortunate to get an architect. His name is Firdaus Dadaboy. He passed away a few years
I've
back.
heard of him.
Yeah, Firdaus Dadaboy. His speciality was he would build townships for Tatas,
Okay.
wherever their factories are. Affordable housing. So, Mr. Javeri introduced us to Mr. Firdaus. And Firdaus was a simple guy with a super mind and good with design. So when he came and saw the property, he said, this is a fantastic property. I love the trees. Let's do something different. So we sat and we brainstormed out. And what came out was brilliant, Ryan, I'll tell you. And Amit is living, so now I'm going to give him the history, how we came to the thing.
Okay.
He said, this is a sloping hill, so let's not do any leveling and all that. Let's go with the flow of the contour of the hill. And we will try and keep maximum trees as they are. So what he did, he designed diamond-shaped buildings, individual buildings, and placed it on the hill. Literally placed it on the hill as per the contour. That's how the layout happened with all the trees. And the kind of open space, the cross ventilation, the even the space utilization is fantastic. And one more thing, Amit, this is for your real estate thing. 3 flats on a floor, you could combine anyway.
Yes.
2 this way, 2 this way, or 3 this way.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because, there could be a 1 BHK, a 2 BHK, and a 3 BHK, or 2 3 BHKs, or, 3 2 BHKs
The
also.
permutation and combinations are amazing. See, not many people can do that.
Yeah.
And in those days, I tell you, but that's exactly what I'm telling you. So, what I am today, or whatever I've learned, is because I had such wonderful people to work with. Whether it's my partner, Mr. Javeri, or whether it is Firdaus the other boy, or whether it is recently done project Rage Magos, which
Yes,
10 years
yes,
back we
yes.
finished. Daraz Batliwala. Daraz Batliwala is one of the most famous architects from Bombay, who was the local architect for Taj Tower in Bombay.
Okay.
The Taj Hotel,
Yeah.
Taj Mahal Hotel.
Yeah.
The local architect for that, the main architect was from France. The local architect was Batliwala and Associates.
Yes.
I mean, to work, and another beautiful thing, Ryan, is such humble people there. Such childish, enthusiasm. I'll give you a small example about Daraz Batliwala. When we started, we became very good friends as we started working with the bungalows at Rage Magos. Very high-end bungalows, and he is a fellow of Frank Lloyd Wright. Frank Lloyd Wright is one of the world-famous architects from US.
Okay.
So he was a fellow of that, and so he used that concept for our bungalows. So when we are talking this, that, you learn a lot and you become friends. And then we would go to Bombay. I would fly down to Bombay, do these meetings. I would stay with Mr. Javeri in Juhu at his house. And on his way to his office, he would drop me off at the architect's office so I could go and do the meetings at Malabar Hill. His office was at Malabar Hill. So one day, after a couple of trips, I said, Mr. Batliwala, I have one small request. He said, what happened? I said, I don't like Bombay. And this travel, this, that, by the end of the day, I'm going to, why don't you, let's have meetings in Goa. The project is in Goa, you come down. No? He jumped. He said, I'm waiting to hear, when will you say this? He says, I love Goa.
Okay.
So he would come down, he would stay here. Full day we would work. In the evening, the guy was ready to go and have wonderful fish curry rice.
Okay.
He loved Goan food. So why I'm saying childish is, the way he would enjoy the food. I mean, that's the way you should enjoy food.
Absolutely.
You relish it, Soak in. Their ambience, everything. So what I'm saying is that is what sometimes, I feel Goa is not really the physical boundary of it. It's the, it's a thing that happens in our head.
Okay.
With experiences with people like
People,
you.
people say this.
Yeah.
Goa is a state of mind.
Yeah, it's a state of mind.
In fact, Amit, that was one of my ideas also.
Yes.
What do we base it on? Remember, I was
Yes,
telling you,
yes, yes.
the Goa state of mind.
Yeah. So what happens is with all my experiences with my friends, with my teachers, with my colleagues, with my customers, with my consultants, the whole thing forms, and that is the experience that you have. And we say, I love Goa, because these things all put together and add up.
So true.
Yeah, and he was asking me, what is the thing that you like about Goa, especially the villages?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I had this, even when we were in school, college, we used to go to friends' house and we would see families, living together, seeing how joyful they were. But I got better experience once I got married. I was so willingly accepted by my in-laws, my sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws, my mother-in-law. My wife is from Moira. Even the neighbors, means their neighbors who were there.
Yep.
I mean, the experience I cannot describe. It's so beautiful. The little rituals that they would do on San Juan or Christmas Mass, even our wedding, or any little birthday function, all of them getting together at my mother-in-law's house. These are things you feel are worth living for.
Yes.
These are things that not the position you have or not the money you have earned and have in the bank or whatever, but these things are priceless.
So, if I may ask, since you come from a culture that's different than your wife's,
Right.
what are some things about their culture? She comes from a Goan Catholic family.
Correct.
What that really attracted you?
See, this is a damn good question. See, why I'm saying is because I told you that I studied in Don Bosco school.
Right.
So what happened is for me, when coming from Hyderabad directly into a Catholic school, I used to love going with all these Catholic students into the chapel.
Right.
And when the mass was going on, I enjoyed that peace, that solemn atmosphere. I got attracted to it. And I somehow, and as I told you, few of the teachers were priests. And most of these priests had a nice, rapport with the kids.
Okay.
They were very strict, but at the same time, they knew where to be, soft and have some fun with the kids. Whether it is jokes or whether they used to give us some gifts and all those things. That relationship, as it grew, and again, when I came back into Tempe College, most of my friends were Catholics. There were a couple of Hindus, but most of them were Catholics. It just happened. So I was very comfortable with my friends being Catholics. I met my wife at Goa Medical College because one of my common friends introduced me to Muriel. I got taken up with her, single mission of saving children.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, she would not look anywhere else except her focus was on the children who are in the ward. So we became friends. So I would sometimes go and see her because my office was very close by. Opposite Don Bosco School was my office.
Okay.
And old GMC is just where present Inox is.
Oh, I had no idea.
That's okay. So that's
quite
where
a new guy to Goa.
so that's where the Goa Medical College was. So I would sometimes walk down, spend some time with her. We became good friends. So I would go, sometimes they would say, no, she's busy, she's at the ward. So I would go to the ward and she would see me, say, okay, just sit down, I'll come in 15 minutes. And if 15 minutes become 1 hour, because she was so focused and it was required because, some of the kids are in bad conditions, you need to do a lot of things, tests, this, that. So observing Muriel for that 1 hour, I saw that the kind of dedication, focus, and this that she had to save those children, it just captivated me. So I became more and more close with her. We were friendly for about 4 years. Then finally I said, come on, let's get married. She said, no, I'm married to my profession.
Oh,
I don't
really?
get married, yeah. Oh, it took me a long time to persuade her. Yeah.
She was very dedicated to
Yeah.
it. So she wanted to remain a spinster or be unmarried?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe unmarried, but even today, when we meet anybody at a function, she says, this guy is my first son. That's me.
Okay.
She says, these two are my second and third. But I'm married to pediatrics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's the way she, even today.
That's her first love.
Yeah, first love. So
Okay.
now you asked me about the culture part, right?
Right.
So as I told you, I was comfortable with the culture part right from school time. But as I again told you that when I got married, the warmth and the way they accepted me, knowing that I'm a Hindu, first thing. Second is coming from a different state. But I'd already spent a lot of time in Goa, so they didn't find me
Too
too different,
Right.
except for the name and the this.
Yes.
You know, maybe the language.
I think
speak.
that is the beauty of Goa, no? The warmth
Yeah.
and welcoming
Yeah.
nature of Goa,
See,
of Goans rather.
that Goans hospitality and that warmth of Goans is something. I'm not saying it's not there somewhere else, but because of the small place of Goa, it's more prominent. It's more.
It is, Shekhar, and I think that is what makes Goa what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not the, as you said, no, physical attributes.
Borders,
It is
yeah.
the people of
Yeah.
Goa that make Goa what it is.
Absolutely. And, and again, they're very straightforward. They don't have any ulterior motives. They trust you immediately. They have faith in you. They don't come like, with any
Suspicious mind. They don't have suspicious minds.
Absolutely. I think the correct word which I was searching for is suspicion. They're not suspicious kind of, they don't see someone else as suspicious. They accept you. So that's the beauty, So for me, I never had an issue with cultural this, that. And again, another beautiful part is we had two weddings. The church wedding and the Hindu wedding. Both families accepted it. And it was fun.
And I think in those days it must have been quite new to Goa.
Yeah. A few were there.
Few
very
were
few.
there, yes.
Yeah.
But let me now take another aspect of it, Shekhar. You and me are in real estate.
Yeah.
Used to be at one time, still has got a bad image, as you were just mentioning.
Yeah.
Real estate is a much abused profession.
Yeah.
Though I think it is one of the toughest professions to work
It is
in.
toughest profession.
And
definitely.
most of the people I have met in this profession are very honest people.
Yeah.
People with very good intentions and very honest, intentions.
Intentions, yeah.
Right? Few black sheep give
Oh,
bad
it's okay.
names, of
That is
course.
always there in every business.
But isn't it a wonderful business because it allows us to meet new people, as you were saying. It allows you to create, give, even if you might not be an architect, but the inputs you bring in, the talks that you, briefs that you give your architects, talk to them, that is what creates a project differently than from this. Of course, the architect has done it.
Yeah.
But it is also the
No,
person
100%.
giving the feedback in.
I agree.
Mr.
I
Zaveri,
agree.
you,
Yeah.
others, whoever the briefs that
Yes.
that is what makes a project different and unique.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. See, I always say that I have been given the privilege of being part of one of the top developers in Goa. And as he rightly pointed out, we're almost next to God kind of a position. It may be a little exaggeration, but it is still an important exaggeration because, as he rightly said, whatever we do as builders, developers, lasts for about 100 years. Whatever you put on that land,
Correct.
whether it's a building, whether it's an apartment, whether it's a home, whatever structure you put up will remain for about 100 years. And even more important is, that is the aesthetic aspect and all those things. But the most important aspect, that's why I keep coming back to the point, consciously I keep calling home, because you have the power to affect a unit, family unit, by way of their comfort, by way of their health, by way of their not exactly comfort. Comfort is already there. You kind of dictate their
Life.
Yeah, you
life.
affect, you
You
directly
affect it
affect their
very
life.
strongly.
Right. Why I'm saying is because, there's a lot of research to say. See, this is where reading books and getting knowledge from someone helped me a lot. Is because I would read and then understand that, you know what? It's not just about steel, bricks, this, that. We are affecting 300 families at one shot in one project. Over a lifetime, maybe 1,000 plus, because I have finished more than 1,000 apartments in my last 30 years and homes. So what I'm saying is, a young couple who starts living in an apartment, the light, the air, the neighbors. See, again, these are social aspects, but that affects a lot. Your next neighbor is so important. He can make your life or break your life.
Yeah. So basically, you're kind of doing social engineering.
Exactly. So that is what I'm saying, that you won't believe. I consciously did an experiment which nobody knew in my office, but in my mind, in Milrock Kadamba, as sales were happening, because I was handling the marketing and sales, as sales were happening, if Amit had picked up an apartment, I would encourage Amit to say, Baba, whoever is your close friend or your relation or you're somebody who's close to you, please let them know that the next apartment or the top apartment goes to them.
Okay.
Sometimes I would also do, suppose I meet you separately and meet him separately. He's bought and I see that you all are kind of like-minded. I would suggest you to take in that building. So
You never think of these aspects, right? When you think of
This is why I asked him this question. I have seen him do things a little differently.
Yeah.
Also, the projects were a little different. You know what? With the preservation of nature, a lot of vibe and livelihoodness was there in the project. There was life in the project.
Yeah.
It is, as he was saying, walls and this don't make a home.
correct.
So their projects were homes.
Yeah.
It also brought in a very healthy environment. The way the projects were done, placements. So the project I live in is around 30-year-old project. Almost 28, 25
Yeah, 28 years old.
28 years old.
28
project.
years old.
So 28 years old project. At that time, nobody had cars. Right? It's an old project. Almost 392 units are there in it. Almost 400.
Almost 400.
So you won't believe it, Ryan. That planning and that openness and that preserving nature of what they did. There are birds. There are sparrows in our colony.
Yes.
There are sparrows, and sparrows are very big deal to have. There are a lot of trees. We, with staying there, are blessed with a lot of nature with us. And our cars can still be parked. Despite many houses having even 2 cars, of course our colony is not 100% occupied, but we have a very good occupancy rate now.
Yeah.
Post the revival of the colony.
Yes.
We have a very fantastic ratio of people now living. Almost 60, 65, 70% occupancy now. And we still, water is still enough. Of course, we require tanker water because PWD is not enough.
The water is not enough.
But the way they planned it, the way the water supply has been planned, the way things have been done, they were ahead of their times. So those things are small inputs you learn from your travels, your reading, your exposure to things, and the kind of architects then what you meet, imbibe. Projects are things that, of course, I wouldn't say, absolutely, but you play a huge role in getting a community together.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan, I'm telling you, the community is so important for our future, because earlier days, I'm talking about many decades ago, we used to have villages and we used to have that little, naturally that community was there. But now what happens is we are actually creating communities because we're building colonies, right? So we have to be conscious that you are creating a community and you have to have that focus, because just a random thing won't help this community. The testimony to what he just now said, in Ribanda Retreat, I have a friend who's one of my earlier clients. He himself is a big developer, an industrialist and a developer, Prakash Jalan.
Okay.
He bought 2 floors and made like a home in the building.
Okay.
That time custom, we did it for him. Very happy. Very, very happy. That was initial 90s, 2000. Then, he also grew. And he bought a plot in Donapala and built a bungalow. Said, let's shift. So they shifted to Donapala. You won't believe, less than 6 months they came back.
And they're still living there. They're my neighbors. One
Really?
building across. And dear friend, but
You know, you'll be shocked.
What's the reason?
It's fantastic. His wife, Bindu, I know everybody, okay? The kids, everybody. So Bindu is telling me, Shekhar, I don't want to stay in that bungalow cut off. Here's a community. If you ask her to tell, she'll give you huge reasons. But that one line that itself said what he said just now. There is a community feeling. She feels
Inclusive.
at home,
Yeah.
inclusive at home here. Though in a building which is so old, simple flats, ours is not a hi-fi buildings.
Yeah,
But
you focused on building affordable homes.
yeah, affordable at that time. And this thing, what he's talking about, the trees, it's such a simple thing. You go and spend a day or two in his project, where he's staying, that Ribanda retreat, and go and spend a few days in the latest colony that has been built somewhere. You'll find at least 4 to 5 degrees temperature difference.
Oh, really?
there are a lot of things, not just the temperature difference. The vibes are different. You know, I'll tell you what difference is. First, they maintained contours. It was not cut
Flat, no?
flat. There is no character to projects. The beauty of your projects was the character each project had. A progressive, very way ahead of the times. Of course, with the kind of personality mentor you had, Mr. Zaveri, the kind of upbringing you had that thoughts, and you got in so amazing architects that, let me be very blunt and frank. I have seen developments in Panjim, so-called big developers in Panjim. Their projects are brick and mortar. And their projects has got a life of its own.
Yeah, these are numbers. What he's talking about, the ones which regularly churn out, is just numbers. It's like, sorry to use the word, but which I use is, they are rich man's chawls.
Ghettos.
Really?
For technical reasons, they will have all the tick marks. Size, this, good view, whatever it is. But if you want to add life into it, this is what we need.
If I may comment, it's almost like building is much more than brick and mortar. And
It is.
From what you have spoken, all your travels, all your reading of books, all your love for culture has come into the project.
No, and my association with people.
Yes.
Everybody from my school days to my friends to my teachers to my even some of my staff, or rather my colleagues with whom I work, everyone has chipped in and contributed.
Excellent.
And
Beautifully.
Best part is, and this is what our connect has been, that I have loved that despite it being apartment buildings where I'm living, and it's very tough to do it in an apartment building, character of Goa was still maintained in their projects. You can't absolutely do it, but there is that community feeling, and it was preserving a piece of Goa while of course developing. And this is the kind of development I have been talking to people. That's why I ended up there. Living there. And funny part is, my family at that time, literally, my cousin, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-laws, in most of his projects they have homes, except the Rees-Magos one, which I hope they had. That was way ahead of the times. One of the first high-end projects, there have been a couple of them earlier also. Theirs was a residential. So I was talking about Capes being the first second home high-end villas project. Theirs is the original living. This was not based for second homes. It was to be a first home. To do a first home project, open it out in a place like Rees-Magos, vision was required. And the way the project is planned, using the contour of, they didn't destroy it. They preserved as many trees as they could. The contours of the place was kept, and the beauty of the project comes from the maintenance of the contours. So the play of contours creates beauty. I think this all came from the European travels and books you have read, plus maybe Mr. Zaveri must have contributed.
No, Zaveri definitely. See, what happens is, you know what, in all our life, if we have these kind of elders who don't kind of point and say, do this, no. But they kind of
Guide you.
mentor you. Those people make, they are like kind of unseen, but they're guiding you. So those kind of things are very important. A lot of, it's sad, I'll tell you, people who are now learning business management or whatever, I don't know whether these things are taught to them, that how important these things are. They do a lot of technical things like, strategy, planning this. Yes, those are important. But
Any last things that you would like to share about Goa and the, kind of Goa we should have?
yeah. Amit, I'm really sorry. I'm really disappointed with the way Goa is going. I didn't want to speak negative, but you can't avoid it because it's the two sides of a coin. When we talked so much about the beauty of Goa, we have to see the current scenario, which I'm not at all happy. Not just me. Across the society,
yes,
people are not
yes.
happy about it because, see, we call development this, that. See, we should have development, but why can't development happen like what has happened in small towns in Europe, where they've kept their culture, they kept their heritage, they kept their architecture, they kept everything. Why should we go to the extreme and destroy and make it characterless? It's becoming... and again, sorry to say, but this is my personal opinion, I'm not a great fan of casinos at all.
Absolutely.
They are the ones who are, I would say, killing a part of Goa because, see, everybody knows that casino gambling is not something that nobody recommends. Government may have its own, compulsions for having it because of their income or whatever, but boss, at the way it is growing, the way it's happening, the focus is fully become in Panjim. Panjim is such a beautiful city. I love walking, anybody would love walking in Panjim. Park the car in one place, you can walk through and through. Why walk? You know everybody. You say hello to everybody. But now today, there's no place to park. The focus has become only casinos and even tourism. The way the tourism has been...
Yes. We've done the numbers game, which we should have.
Yeah, exactly. We should have given qualitative...
what has happened is, I agree with you. Those signs, ugly, glaring signboards.
This is something I
horrible. And
if you're driving into Panjim or out of Panjim, if you see that signs that he's talking about, why are you making it like a Las Vegas kind of a thing with all... What are you advertising? Pan masala you're advertising, yeah? The biggest board in what you see around Panjim on Betim Hill is pan masala.
And actually,
I'm
surprised.
We are proud of.
I think it's an alien thing to Goa.
Exactly.
To the culture
of course.
Not only alien, I'll tell you a fact.
So why advertise or see pan masala? If it's there, it is there. But one side, government is saying that we want, Swachh Bharat. We want clean. You're marketing, the biggest marketing thing on TV, on FM, and on billboards is pan masala.
But
people chew pan masala and...
You know a fact that pan masala is actually banned in Goa.
Boss,
and that billboard is of a pan masala one. Not just that. You see the casinos, they've got large screens, glaring, when you drive by, it is distracting. They are ugly.
It's gaudy.
Actually,
That's true.
Gaudy.
That's the right word.
And
Absolutely, it's gaudy.
Let me use the wrong word for it. I shouldn't be. Looks like we have walked into a brothel rather than our lovely city.
It will happen. If
The Panjim you are talking about, I loved Panjim. I've travelled all over the place. I was born in Goa, but travelled all over the place, seen different cities, different metros, lived in multiple places, travelled the length and breadth of India, lot of parts of the world, but Goa is what I loved. Panjim is what I loved. And the vibe that Panjim had was something, is still something. It is still there in the people. But I think what you're saying is, there are a lot of things happening, not only the gambling poisoning of the society, but environmental destruction also, that overload of ships that we have brought in, the kind of expansion from that small ship to the number, you might have had need for little bit. But I think our river is getting polluted, the water has become ugly. We talk about this, and we shouldn't be probably, but truth is, I think, and I wish that somebody, the government hears this and does something about it. We understand it's a required thing. Put it in a place where it is not that destructive. And second, Panjim's infrastructure is too overloaded. Either we have the infrastructure, we use it properly for class tourism. This kind of people coming in for gambling, and there are other evils with it. We don't want to talk about it. It is actually destroying Goa, what Goa was and should be. And I think there is where your angst came out on. Yeah. I hope that we preserve Goa, the Goa we love.
And Ryan, Goa is one of it has such uniqueness in India because of its architecture. The houses are so beautiful.
Amazing.
So beautiful, such lovely houses. But the only problem is we are somewhere, whether it's a government fault or whether it's a people or what, I don't know, we are commercializing too much.
I know what you mean.
Somewhere, I mean, you can't commercialize everything in life here. Somewhere you have to draw a line and then you have to live
Ryan,
life.
This will be rich coming from us. We are people who are in development. But the fact is, people like him and me and a lot of people that you must have seen who have come in, there have been a few real estate guys. Common voice is that this is not what we want. Yeah. And none of us propagates this. Sad part is that what is happening is beyond our control. I hope that people like Sheikh, like Prabhu Desai and Desh Prabhu Desai, these people have got amazing visions. People like them, we have got amazing architects in Goa also.
Yeah, of course.
We've got amazing people here. Take them on board. Take them in your planning development. Get aesthetics in. Get the environment preservation in. And preserve Goa for future generations. Now, there's a huge thing that legacies we have to leave behind. This is not a legacy that I would wish upon Goa.
I have only one question for everybody in Goa. May it be a simple person working in an office or a manager or a politician or a businessman, everybody. One question before you do anything. Ask only one question. Whatever I'm doing, whatever work I'm doing, whether a politician doing his decision making or his development or a businessman doing whatever, is this whatever I'm doing is going to benefit my children, my grandchildren?
Yes.
Is it going to be beneficial or negative? Boss, very few people think about this.
So possibly one of the outcomes of talks such as this would be to record these sentiments.
Of course.
And hopefully to make a change in the future. People would listen to this, people would give in their suggestions, people would appreciate what is happening in Goa and what needs to be preserved.
Today, most people, I'm sorry to say, most people, I mean some well-educated, smart people, everybody, their thing is simple. As long as me and my family are okay,
it doesn't
taken
matter.
care of, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Sad.
Which will not, I'll tell you, what I was just talking down below is the same thing. What has COVID actually, we are not carrying on the lessons COVID taught us. Whether you're a millionaire or
Absolutely.
it will affect you. So the same thing is going to happen with this. If you do something to destroy Goa, you are going to pay for it.
Yes.
Whoever you may be.
Yes, absolutely.
Other thing is, rich people may say, okay, I'll migrate to Dubai or I'll migrate to US but what will other people will do? And why destroy a beautiful place we already have?
Absolutely. Well, sir, we've learned so much from being with you. We have a lot of golden nuggets that you have shared with us about your life, about the things you've learned. Unfortunately, we are running out of time for this particular session. But from Amit and I, we want to thank you. Especially, we have learned so much about the thought that you have put into all your projects.
Yeah.
And creating communities. You, apart from just homes, you've even gone further and created communities. We want to thank you especially. I was personally touched by your love for travel, your love for reading. You're a man of culture, and it's been an amazing session. Amit, would you like to share anything?
I think you've nicely summed it up. I'll just thank Shekhar because he's been a wonderful human, and we've shared some amazing moments together. I hope that life remains kind to us and we can share even more amazing moments, and we'll keep on doing such sessions, maybe with some other people, with you, because there are so many things, so many
That are yet left
learnings that have to be
unexplored.
taken out, documented. This show was all about documenting the people and the mindset, what turns Goa into what it is. And you're speaking of one aspect of it. People might think it is negative. It's not negative. It is what we want positive to
Yes.
happen. What positive thing we want to happen is we want Goa to be, of course, developed, of course, but the kind of development and the kind of thoughts that you have shared, that is what we want about Goa.
Yeah.
So thank you, Shekhar. Thanks for sharing, taking out time, being here with us. Thanks for, despite everything, spending so much time and talking to us.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Amit. Thank you, Ryan. I think it's a great initiative. I don't know about the commercial aspect of it, but as
Actually,
Amit
we don't
said,
have any commercial
I
aspect
know,
to it at all.
as Amit said, it's something that you're creating that will, the younger generation can watch and understand what Goa is about, what life in Goa is about.
Absolutely.
Values, character. Good, fantastic. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Susegaad Musings. Stay tuned for the release of the next episode of Susegaad Musings exactly in 1 week. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any other podcasting platform. Watch us on our YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram and Facebook @Susegaad Musings. Susegaad Musings is brought to you by Amit Chopra and me myself, Ryan Lobo. I will see you in the next episode.